self-determination. Rise up, African nation. Kujichagulia, accomplish what you will. A new world we must build. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Rise up, African nation. Kujichagulia, accomplish what you will. A new world we must build. We must define, name, and create, and we must speak for ourselves. That holy power belongs with no one else. The life of truth and justice for our community requires Kujichagulia from you and me. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Rise up, African nation. Kujichagulia, accomplish what you will. A new world we must build. We must define, name, and create, and we must free our minds and work together diligently to overthrow all strife. The life of peace and harmony and true prosperity requires Kujichagulia from you and me. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Rise up, African nation. Kujichagulia, accomplish what you will. A new world we must build. We must define, name, and create, and we must free our minds and work together diligently to overthrow all strife. The life of peace and harmony and true prosperity requires Kujichagulia from you and me. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Rise up, African nation. Kujichagulia, accomplish what you will. A new world we must build. A new world we must build. A new world we must build. Kujichagulia, 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 Kujichagulia.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Grand Rising, Jose, Grand Rising. We see in the Hosea, how beautiful to behold and wonderful to witness, says Isis, Sacred Mother, when you ascend in the heavens, with your power upon you, your awe around you, and your words of power at your feet. You are helped by Ra, the perfecter, just as he always does. The exalted ones of heaven are brought to you, and the exalted ones of earth are assembled for you. They place their hands under you and make a ladder for you, so that you may ascend on it to the heavens. The doors of the heavens and the entranceways of the starry expanse are open for you. Ra, the perfecter, has gathered together the districts for you and has given you the cities of earth. You are the one who presides over Upper Egypt and Nubia. Have they killed you or said you shall die? You shall never die, but shall surely live forever. You shall be effective against them and superior to them, living and enduring forever and ever. Ashe. And now Mama Ngina and Baba Ustadi will lead us in affirmation.
Mama Angina is having a little bit of a challenge with her mute button, so I'm going to step in for her.
Wonderful.
We will know God's truth to be free and self determined. Oh, you're on mute, Babu Stadi. Babu Stadi, unmute.
Okay, good. Sorry. I was having trouble with my mute button. Creator, help us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors and to honor the struggle of our elders.
Let us strive to bring new vision and life to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homeland.
We will raise our children according to the needs of our nation with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will strive to be the living model of the new direction of our people.
We are an African people.
We are children of God.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Now, To Be New cultural gatherers have joined us again to bring their wonderful musical stylings. To Be New, you nearby?
Yes, we're right here. Blessings, Rose. It's a pleasure to be back. We have something very special for you today. My name is Brian B. Bowling.
And I am Zakia G.E. Capehart Bowling.
And we are the To Be New Cultural Gatherers. We would like to highlight some of the poems from my wife's book, Ghana on My Mind. Zakia, you want to hold your book up? And I've written several compositions that support some of the songs and poems in her book, poems and short stories in her book. And the song that I would like to perform that I written is called The Images of Our People.
I'm doing a medley of poems from my book. And the first medley is entitled Clear Like Water. Then the billboards, on the bus, and tomorrow's leaders.
When I look upon your billboards, I see Ghana people looking like me, with their dark skin, woolly hair, big smiles that makes me feel proud. That's where I like to be, where the people look like me, looking like me. In the U.S. I don't feel the same. The news there, it brings me pain. It's all a big money game, wanting black folks to take all the blame. You know it's a crying shame, but in Ghana I feel free, 'cause the people look like me, looking like me.
I meditate by Ghana's ocean, embracing my culture, celebrating with family, speaking my native language. I thought I'd forgotten, but it's in my DNA, where nothing is lost, just lying dormant, to rise again, awaiting acknowledgement, to rise again from my ocean within. Traveling by bus, it was marvelous to see. On every billboard, the people looked like me. I kept watching to see if that scenario would change, because where I live, the difference creates pain. Too sad to explain. The billboards from the bus windows gave me such delights. I emerged in wonderment instead of fright. Looking at faces of black people on billboards riding along the highway made me feel proud, elevated my self-esteem, connected me closer to the Canadian people and my ancestors. Circumstances dictated limited quarters. However, commuting by bus gave us poets an opportunity to dove, inquire, and discover more about Ghana. On those commutes, we poets also got to know each other a little better. We talked a lot. Sometimes we ate more than we talked. On longer bus rides, like traveling from Accra to Cape Coast, we got to catch up on some much appreciated rest because napping was part of the agenda as well. In the end, we all developed a family-like closeness with one another, essentially observing and conversing with Canadians, enjoying the country's breathtaking sights, and taking notice of the changing architecture gave us an understanding of Ghana we'd never gained in the USA. The panoramic view from the bus showed the country's raw, natural beauty. Traveling to and around Ghana was an invaluable education, one that will live forever in my memory. The attentive, articulate, inquisitive high school students were refreshing to witness. Their openness in sharing, patience to listen, thoughts about life, creative ideas for change, sensibility and sensitivity towards others, as well as their awareness of local community challenges and worldly issues too, has opened the door, giving tomorrow's leaders the opportunity to seek and explore.
When I look upon your billboards, I see Ghana people looking like me, with their black skin, woolly hair, big smiles that makes me feel proud. That's where I want to be, where the people look like me, looking like me. Up on your billboards I see people looking like me. Thank you.
Great song and a great message. In fact, our own Sister Darnisha is speaking at the last Wednesday Black Knowledge Matters about exactly that, Ghana property acquisition and youth program development. Sister Darnisha, would you like to add a word here?
No, just that I agreed with all the sentiments of the song. It inspired me to change my background there. So that is Ghana in the background there. My little piece of dirt there, and my one tree. Looking forward to sharing with you all. And I have two trees. I have that tree and I have a neem tree too. Let's see. You guys see the neem tree? It's back there. Go on, Bill. What's next on
Again,
the agenda?
thank you to be new. A beautiful song reminding us just what we need to do. And now our own Minister Alicia will bring us an historical tribute.
Okay, hello. I am going to start screen sharing. I have my IT specialist here, Kobe, who's going to assist.
Shit.
Yeah. And you press this. And share.
Okay. And then this one.
And you use the arrow keys to move
Is
left
it
to right.
this way?
And not too.
Okay. All right. Awesome sauce. Thanks, Kobe. So today we're going to be talking about Mutoni wa Kirima. She's a Mau Mau field marshal. And so first I'm just going to give some background. Up at the top, you see the Mau Mau acronyms that sometimes you may hear Minister Emotep say, Mazungu, Arudi, Ulaya, Mawa, Africa, Apati, Uhuru. So first I want to start out saying that opposition to British rule has existed from the start. A lot of times we might think that, you know, oh, how do we just let everybody just come in and do all this, you know, to us? But we had always been resisting. We just don't always hear about different resistance plans and tactics. So 1895 to 1905, there was the Nandi resistance. From 1913 to 1914, there was the Giriama uprising. In 1947, the women's revolt against forced labor. In 1950, the Koloa Afre. And then in 1952 to 1960 was the Mau Mau Rebellion. In the 1920s, natives objected to the reservation of the White Highlands. That's what they were called because so many Europeans, they put so many Europeans in there. For Europeans, especially British war veterans. Britain usurped 5 million acres of the best lands from the native inhabitants and herded them toward the swamps, giving them nothing as compensation, or no sure title to even that land. And they introduced forced labor at that time. A group surfaced during World War II called the Kenya African Study Union. They changed the name to the Kenya African Union. They were a political organization devoted to achieving independence. They articulated Kenyan grievances against the British colonial administration. And just as a note, I did not type down all the groups or all the uprisings. There was a lot of different groups that were forming, and I cannot type down them all. So if you know more than I do with history, which, you know, I'm not the history buff here, but and you're like, well, what about this and what about that? I don't have everything in here, but I'm giving you kind of like a surrounding view. So author Wangari Maathai writes that many of the organizers were ex-soldiers who fought for the British during World War II. When they returned to Kenya, they were neither paid nor recognized for their service, whereas the British counterparts were awarded with medals and received land, and sometimes they received the very land of the Kenyan veterans. The KAU its efforts to attain significant reform or redress of grievances from colonial authorities were unsuccessful and led the people to shift to more militant figures and formed the Mau Mau movement among the Kikuyu in 1952. They were born out of the military wing of the Kenya Central Association, or 40 Group, was the KLFA, the Kenya Land and Freedom Army, which was the official name. And we know it as the Mau Mau. The purpose was to remove white settlers who had taken up land previously owned by Kenyans. They were also fighting for
You just went silent if you don't know it.
was the commander, nicknamed Jangu, meaning rough and treacherous. He was the most feared of the commanders. His unit was the Kenya Defense Council that organized armed attacks against the British colonial government, leader in the Aberdare Forest. And I cannot get this name right, so if I mess it up, please excuse me. Waruhiu Aitot, meaning one who always carries a knife or sword. That's what his mom named him, one who always carries a knife or sword. He was nicknamed General China. He formed the Hika Hika Battalion, which meant that make haste, and was the strong arm of the Mau Mau in the Mount Kenya forest. Stanley Matinge, leader of both the Kenya African Union and the 40 Group, he served as a political and military leader of the Mau Mau. He was a strong advocate of violence being the only way for Kenya to gain independence. The Musa Wariyama, he was a field marshal, highest ranking leader among the Meru side of the uprising. He survived the war without being killed or captured. But by the time he left his bases in Mount Kenya and the Nyambene Hills, he had 2,000 fighters who had survived. He was decorated with the Nation Order of Elder of the Burning Spear. So here is Field Marshal Muthoni wa Karima. Muthoni wa Karima was born in 1930 in Kenya. Her first experiences of racial violence between Kikuyu and the settlers came when she was doing child labor at the farm of a white settler around 8 years old. She saw verbal and emotional abuse, physical violence towards Kikuyu men, and sexual violence towards Kikuyu women. This drove her when she was older to resolve to fight for independence to free her people and her country. In 1948, she met her husband, Mutungi Gichuhi. He was a young cook. So in the uprising, in 1952, Muthoni took the Mau Mau oath. She had to balance being part of the revolution with her family responsibilities. She began using her connections as a trader to get information to the Mau Mau in the forest. She also organized the oaths of other people. Her husband didn't take the oath till a year later in 1953. And once she did, she had to leave him in the forest. She didn't see him for 11 years because he lived in that forest until 1963. However, he had been a candidate for the Kamatimu, which was a loyalist group. And so the day after he left, she had come back to the house. And so the day after he left, the colonial chief Muhoya had sent officers to her house to check for him. They wanted him to be a part of their group. So they questioned her on his whereabouts, and she told them that he left to get eggs and never came back. So at that point, they had left, and then 3 days later, they returned with suspicions that maybe he had joined the Mau Mau. And so they beat her in order to get information. And they beat her so bad, they left her unconscious. This was a turning point to her becoming a forest fighter. So she was no longer just, I'm gonna stay here and try to help the Mau Mau from my position here and just being a runner and giving information. I'm going to the forest so that I could fight. So she spent a week by herself after she fled and went to the forest before even finding the Mau Mau. Her nickname was Weaver Bird, because she weaved brilliant strategies for Kenya. She began as a non-combatant, like most other women. She cooked and looked after the soldiers. She got them ammunition and grenades, but she quickly impressed her fellow soldiers with her shooting skills and quick thinking. She was also a great medic. Before long, she was leading her own platoons. It was said about her that she feared nothing, that she was a dangerous woman, and that even men feared her. Some promotions occurred because when shortage of food was a problem, she went out of the way and was able to get it. This, together with her combat skills, got her promoted several times until she got promoted up to the level of a field marshal. So after the war, Mutoni and other Mau Mau fighters had a hard time readjusting to society. The Mau Mau rebellion was a key piece in Kenya attaining its freedom. Many of the freedom fighters did not get any of the benefits of the new government. A purposeful suppression of the Mau Mau legacy and its veterans was underway. Like the leaders and stuff were putting down the Mau Mau, and they were saying that it would be best if they were just wiped off, their legacy was wiped away. So they kind of purposely suppressed what they did. Soon Mutoni was fed up with the situation and went to the office of the mayor of Nairobi. There she laid down on a mat. He got up and asked, what's your problem? And she told him she was not leaving until he gave her a place to stay. And if there was none available, he was to leave her sleeping on his office mat as he went home. So basically she was going to stay there until he gave her a place to stay, because there was the people who were Mau Mau, they had come back into society, and they were basically homeless. They didn't have anything and nobody was helping them. The mayor found her a place, and that place is where she still lives today. So locks are very important in the Mau Mau. Dreadlocks were an important marker of the Mau Mau rebellion. Some people were imprisoned for looking like the Mau Mau. Dreadlocks were seen by the wearer as a sacred symbol of defiance against British colonizers. And once they were free, the Mau Mau continued to wear their dreadlocks as a symbol of anti-colonialism. Mutoni wa Karima had grown her locks while hiding from fighting the British in the forest. She said she would not cut her hair until she sees the benefit of independence, until she saw the country that she fought for. Although the war ended in 1956 and Kenya gained independence in 1963, she did not cut her locks until April of this year in 2022, signifying Kenya's full independence, or it was just her time to lay the burden down. And that's a quote from her on the right side. In inspiration, the Mau Mau uprising was a key step toward independence. Leonard Howell, the father of the Rastafari movement, was watching and was so proud of and inspired by the movement. The Mau Mau epitomized a part of the Pan-African movement that had things in common with the ideas of Marcus Garvey. Like the Mau Mau, Rastas regard locks as both a sign of their African identity and religious vow of separation from their oppressor. So I pour libation to all the Mau Mau freedom fighters who sacrificed their lives so that people could be free from the rule of oppressors. Ashe.
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 Oh, how inspiring and informative.
Fantastic. Thank you, Minister Alicia. To be new, you have another song for us?
We sure do, my brother.
Please step
Yes,
forward.
sir. We would like to do a composition written by the famous saxophonist composer Pharoah Sanders and the great late Leon Thomas. They did a composition on their album Spirits Known and Unknown. It's called Let the Rain Fall on Me.
And my poem is entitled Phyllis. It's about the late, great Phyllis Hyman. It's dedicated to her. And my experience, the first concert that I got to enjoy her in. So this is the poem that I render to you at this time, Phyllis.
me till our drinks clear through me. No cares at all. You hear, let it fall. And if a cloud burst should fall, while the world plays run for one, raindrops play a melody, and love supplies the harmony. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
I was excited and worried all at once when the rain came that summer day at Wingate. I had waited for that outdoor concert and the opportunity to see this vocalist a long time. I prayed the rain would not cause the concert to be canceled. So when the decision came to use the Wingate High School auditorium, I was in ecstasy because at that moment, for me, the sun came out and dried every raindrop, even though the rain continued to fall. Now my excitement elevated and my worrisome feelings dissipated. We were corralled into the small auditorium and packed to its capacity. Then we waited for Phyllis's entrance. I'll always remember the emotions that were evoked just by her appearance. Her beauty radiated the entire auditorium as she stately glided to center stage. Miss Hyman was regal as well as sophisticated, and as she approached to greet the audience, silence filled the room. Everyone at that concert became enthralled, in awe, spellbound. Phyllis's presence had indeed enchanted us, commanding without a doubt our undivided attention. She was absolutely charismatic, with pores and charm. She then began to sing, luring her audience seductively with each note. Her deep and gentle eyes inviting us to listen to stories of love. respond with hands clapping, cheering, and words of fondness. It was as if our hypnotic state had been broken by the will of her magic. Phyllis's decorum was assured and indisputable that hot and humid rainy day in Brooklyn, New York was the first time I had the honor and pleasure to experience the superb, magnificent, renowned, silky, sultry voice of Phyllis Hyman.
Let the rain fall on me till I drench clear through me. No cares at all. You hear, let it fall. And if a cloud burst should fall, while the world plays run for run, raindrops play a melody, and love supplies the harmony. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, oh, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
Oh. To be new cultural gatherers. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Makalisi today has a special message for us from the Council of Elders. Mr. Makalisi? You're muted, Mr. Makalisi.
All right, I'm in Ra-Hetep will say, give thanks and praises for this day of life, health, and strength. Give thanks and praises for the To Be New cultural gatherers, for Minister Alicia's outstanding, very much needed historical tribute. Today I'm sharing with you an announcement from the Wose Oakland Council of Elders that there is going to be an election to fill 6 Council of Elders positions. This is going to take place in October of this year. And all Wose Oakland full members are eligible to vote. And if you're choosing, or someone is choosing you as a full member, you can be nominated for one of the positions. And the 6 positions are the Commissioner of Circle Affairs, the Commissioner of Community Services, Commissioner of Pan-African Affairs, Administrative Elder, the Clerk Elder, and the Recorder. For details on the responsibilities of these positions, for the major responsibilities of these positions, you'll be receiving an email with the 2022 election document. It will give you more details about these responsibilities for each position. And in addition to that, you should go into your copy of our Constitution and see some of the responsibilities. What you'll be receiving in the 2022 election document will be what has been viewed by the commission, by the committee, election committee, as the major areas of importance of work that the commissions should be doing. But in the Constitution, there's some additional challenges. So the Wose Oakland Council of Elders is the governing body of Wose Oakland, and it's made up of the lead minister, the 7 commissioners, and 4 administrative officers. The commissioners and officers are elected to terms by the membership of the Wose Oakland community. Okay, the timeline. The timeline starts with today, with what I'm doing right now on this September 4th to announce the election, including the seats that are up for election and responsibilities of those seats and the process and the timeline. The timeline continues with September 24th, being a community meeting will be held via Zoom to discuss the elections and to begin taking nominations for the positions. Nominations will be taken for a 2-week period. That's leading up to October 9th, when the nominations will end. That's Sunday, October 9th, nominations will end. And then the Saturday 24th, September 24th community meeting, that is on a Saturday, like I said, via Zoom. All right, so after the nominations end on Sunday, October 9th, on October 16th, Sunday, there will be a distribution of the ballots to all eligible voters. And those distributions are going to take place by email. So I think most of you, if not all of you, have your emails on the list. If not, you need to get that information to Brother Tyehimba. Okay. So from October 16th through October 23rd, voting will take place, and your ballots will need to be submitted via email. You're going to get the information from Brother Tyehimba. It's coming to me, myself, and Minister Minister Jango, yes. And we will get together and count the ballots. And Sunday, October 23rd, the elections end. Again, the voting will take place by ballots via email between October 16th through October 23rd. And the 23rd will be the end. And on Monday, the 24th of October, Minister Shango and myself will get together and get the votes counted. And Sunday, October 30th, the elected officers will be announced at our service. And then we will be scheduling and carrying out installation of those officers November 13th. So, as I said, the email that you're going to receive will lay out some of the most important responsibilities of each of those positions. I'm not going to go through those right now. I'd just like to add this to this announcement. Now, while this is about electing persons to handle these positions, commissioners, as recorders, and so forth, each of us, each of you has an election of yourself to be done. And that is to elect yourself to one of these commissions, as a member of the commission, as a supporter of the commissioner, as one that's ready, willing, able determined and diligent to carry out responsibilities of those commissions, of those positions, to carry that news, that spirit to our people, so that our membership can grow. Because our people, we need to get organized, get our energies, our hearts, our minds, our loves, our spirits together to make life for our people, for ourselves, more beautiful and beneficial than they are right now, to eliminate some of the self-destruction and the animosities that goes on amongst our people because we've lost our way. And those of us who have found the way, we need to get militant. But as Minister Malik talks about the militancy of Mott, we need to get militant in taking that information, militant and diligent, loving, caring, and sharing, and take that information, take the responsibilities of our commissions out and see them, how many more of our people whose hearts and minds and lives we can gather up. So we're going to elect the people to these positions, but we want each of you and all of us to elect ourselves to positions of messengers, as organizers, as transformers of our positions in the communities in which we live, and ultimately across this nation and around the world. So that's what I'm here to share with you today, and looking forward to the most positive future that our hearts and minds and spirits can imagine for the Wose communities of the Sacred African Way. Ashe.
Ashe. And now, Mama Michelle and Baba Damani are going to lead us in our litany of sacrifice.
Good morning, everyone. Time in our service, well, I like to call, we get to practice Ujima together, a collective work and responsibility to keep our spiritual institutions in Oakland and Sacramento solvent and financial money's in the bank, pay the bills. Anyway, on the screen, Bill just put on the screen the two addresses, different ways you can send your money to the two addresses, to Holly Street and to P.O. Box in Sacramento, and their websites. Anyway, let's get started here. Litany of sacrifice. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We praise your name, O Amen Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We should strive to maintain unity and family, community, nation, and race.
Kujichagulia, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We should build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from them.
Where we at? Near purpose. We should make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness. That's our purpose.
Yes, sir. Kuumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Imani, faith. We will believe with all our hearts in our people, in our God, our people, and in the
righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Ashe.
Ashe. Please bow your heads for a brief prayer. O Mother, Father, God, she of the Most High, the maker of all that is and shall be, the giver of all our needs, the knower of what is beyond truth. We are here before you, having given support to our Wose community, sacrifices that we pledge to be used to support our church, our way, our God. We give to further the way of Ma'at, truth, justice, balance, harmony, reciprocity, the laws and manners of our ancestors brought to life within us. We are showing strong today. We are showing that we can sacrifice today. We pray that you help us to keep the shining feather of Ma'at within our sight, within our thoughts, within our hearts. Amun-Ra, please give a special blessing for those who sacrificed in the past. It has made this moment possible. Please bless those who have sacrificed today, for they make the next days of harmony at Wose possible. Please bless those who will sacrifice monetarily to Wose in the coming days, for it will make the planning for the long term come true for us. I thank you, Amun-Ra, for all of the ways that you have allowed us to be able to earn to sacrifice before you. Together, we are all the hearts and minds and the many hands needed to reclaim what is our African history, our ancestors' ways, and become the protectors of the mysteries. We claim before you, Amun-Ra, that we are happy to give, to show reciprocity is alive within us. Amun-Ra is alive within us, that we are alive before God. Amen. Ashe. Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Now, our senior minister, Minister Imhotep, is here today with our message. Mr. Imhotep?
Right. Good morning. How's everyone?
No less than blessed in spite of the mess.
Yes, indeed. Wanna rise and shine this morning. Excellent historical tribute, Minister Alicia. Umzungu, Urudi, Ulaya, Africa, Aparte, Uhuru. And what that says is when Umzungu are the white people. So when Umzungu go back to Ulaya, that's how they say Europe in Kiswahili, Ulaya. Umzungu, Urudi, Ulaya, Apartheid, Uhuru. Umzungu, Urudi, Ulaya, Apartheid, Uhuru. What that says is when Africans gain independence and Europeans go back to Europe, Africans gained independence. That's, Mau Mau was not just an acronym, but that's what they were saying. They were saying when Europeans go back to Europe, Africans gain independence. Beautiful historical tribute explaining the locks and the role that the sisters played in the liberation. Also, I would add, most recently, she was a Nobel Prize winner, Wangari Maathai, led an effort to plant 30 million trees in Kenya. So it's still happening today. Today, we're going to talk about rise and shine, and our freedom writing will come from the Hosea, Rising and Transformation, number 13, page 123. How beautiful to behold and how wonderful to witness, say the powers of heaven, when this royal vindicated one rises in the sky. When you, O vindicated one, ascend in the sky with your power upon you, your awe around you, and your words of power at your feet. The powers of heaven and earth come to you. They make support for you upon their arms. May you ascend unto the sky and raise it up on the divine ladder. For Ra says, the heavens and the earth are given to you. Behold, you have become the enduring bull among the wild bulls set against the evil one. Endure and last, O enduring bull, that you may prevail at the head of them, at the head of the spirits forever and ever. It's our freedom riding. I'm going to open with whoops, hopefully I can, did it come over? It did not come over, sisters and brothers, but I was opening up Brother Katabasi with Bunny Whalers, Rise
Yeah.
and Shine.
Yeah, I would have loved to heard some of that.
I'm using my son's computer today. We have company, and normally where I'm coming from, I'm in a loft and people are talking today, so that's why it got moved over. But these are the words. It says, "This is the cry of a people who were robbed and raped from their homeland and their loved ones, a people stripped of their culture, their dignity, their liberty, their right. And by the cruel and presumptuous hands of the colonial imperialists and slavers, we were cargoed into the West, where for over 400 years they toiled and labored with their blood, their sweat and tears in hand, and they built the great cities of Babylon, only to be paid by the wages of the taskmaster's whip, torture, and death. We've been down in the valley much too long. We've been down in captivity, oh so long. We've been down in humility much too long. We've been down in slavery, oh so long. But we're going to rise and shine and win our liberation. For now's the time when all nations must be free. Rise and shine. Restore your strength and power. Waste no more time. Remember your history. We've been down in sufferation much too long. We've been down in condemnation, oh so long. We've been down in segregation much too long. We've been down in humiliation, oh so long. But we're going to rise as the morning sun that surrounds you. It's international morality time, where mankind must be born anew. So rise and shine for the sake of the younger generations, putting hearts and minds to brotherhood and unity. We're going to rise. Remember the slave ship. Remember the taskmaster's whip. We've been down in the valley much too long. We've been down in captivity, oh so long. We've been down in slavery much too long. We've been down in humility, oh so long. We're going to rise and win our liberation, for now's the time when all nations must be free. Rise and shine. Restore your strength and power. Waste no more time. Remember your history. We're going to rise. That song, I'm sorry about the video not being played. Maybe we can try to get it together a little later in the service as time permits. But that was sung by Bunny Wailer. And for those of you that don't know, Bunny Wailer is one of the original Wailers. So the original Wailers, many of us met them as Bob Marley and the Wailers. They were previously known as just the Wailers, and then they were the Wailing Rude Boys, and then the Wailing Wailers, the Teenagers. They were a Jamaican ska band. This is the evolution of that music. First it was ska, then it was rock steady, then it was reggae. And these were the founding members: Bob Marley, Robert Nesta Marley, Peter Tosh, Hubert Winston McIntosh, who we know as Peter Tosh, and Neville Livingston, better known as Bunny Wailer. And here's Bunny right here. And these are the original Wailers, Bob, Peter, and Bunny. So our freedom writings, coming from the Hosea, the books of rising and transformation. And this is from the sections of writing known as the pyramid text. And they can be found in the Perneter, known as the Pyramid of Unas, as some Egyptologists call it. The indigenous wisdom keepers of Kemet use the word Winnis, and this is how it is expressed in Medu Neter. Winnis. Nefer Asut Winnis. The beautiful are the cult. You know, when you look up European examples, and so they say the cult of Winnis, and I would just like to say that word cult, anything that you do in terms of worship and livocation, Europeans classify that as a cult. So if you're not a Jew or Hebrew or Christian or Muslim, you're involved in a cult. But that word cult is short for culture. So beautiful are the places of Winnis, and it's alternatively translated as perfect are the places of Winnis, or the places of Winnis are complete. And this is the place that we're talking about, and it's at a place called Saqqara, where also is found the step pyramid of Saqqara. And here is, oh man, let's see, can I go back? This last picture here. Here is Winnis. Excuse me, Pepi. I'm sorry, I'm just all confused. This is Teti. This is where this freedom writing is coming from. So when you go in there, all of these writings are all on the wall. This is where his, you know, I don't think they've ever found any body in this location. This is all written on the walls in this Perneter, in this so-called pyramid. So in the Hosea, Dr. Karinga's intro to the books of Rising Like Ra, he says, the oldest text from which the Old Kingdom are called the Pyramid Text, I have titled the book, Books of Rising and Transformation. The rationale for this is the focus and activity expressed in the text where the royal vindicated one, i.e., the Per-Ah in this case, rises from the dead, ascends into heaven, and transforms into a living God. Rising here refers to both resurrection and ascension into the heavens, and transformation is achieved through having lived righteously, becoming one with God, and becoming a living God oneself, or powers of heaven. And then he continues, he says, one of the major significance of the books of Rising Like Ra is their emphasis on the ancient Kemetic belief in the concept and possibility of immortality and divinity for humans. In a word, they posit that through right practice, one can become a netter and live forever at the right hand of the great netter. And this could be achieved, as the books and others of the Hosea state and suggest, in three basic ways. Achieved internal development, excellence in social relations, and significant social, historical service and achievement. So the bulk of this message is focusing on these three things: achieved internal development, excellence in social relations, and significant social, historical service and achievement. Achieved internal development, excellence in social relations, and significant social, historical service and achievement. Rising refers to resurrection, ascension into heaven, and transformation, and this is achieved through living rightly and becoming one with God, becoming a living netter oneself or power of heaven. Rise and shine. Now, in the Hebrew canon, there's some things that are codified, and they're talking about the River Jordan and the Most High and the Dead Sea. That's referring to places also in the human body. So, in the claustrum, I've talked about this before. The claustrum, the oil is transmuted, the oil, the milk and the honey, and it goes down the spinal column and comes back up. And then that's when you rise and shine. I found this picture, and these are showing us the major centers: your root center, your spleen center, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your brow, and then just above the human body, if you're able to ascend that energy, something called the 1,000-petal lotus. So this is rising and transforming. That's what we want to do. We want to rise and shine and transform. Internal development. We worked on that a little bit this morning. Again, I want to apologize to Minister Makalisi. I'm sorry. I forgot that you were slated to be, and you always will be, slated to lead the meditation on the first Sunday. But here we see our son, it sounds funny when I say this, our son Ra, that's my son's name, and he's seriously about meditating. He's seriously about internal training and development. And here's Sister Rashonda with her oldest daughters, Indigo and Imani, in a Kemetic pose. And here this sister is telling us, You had the power all along. So that first one is achieve internal development. I want to share something with you here, and this has to do with the some of the venerable elders that have gone on. They resided here, we'll say, Sacramento. So here is an old picture of some elders back in the day, and some are not with us anymore. Brother Ray Robertson is here, Mother Spraggins, Brother Bolton, Sister Valeria passed on, Brother Henry Emmanuel Hightower. But Sister Nokwesi is still with us. I dubbed this sister Queen Sheila Smith is with us. Sister Phyllis Purvis and Mother Grace Carter Douglas is still with us, still hanging on. But these elders here were very venerable. So Brother Reverend Ray Robertson was an expert in the scriptures. He could break them down and tell you how they're connected with the human body. Even though he was advanced in age, he could still do the split. And here on the end is Brother Bolton. This is Brother Algie Bolton. He was skilled with the ability to do carpentry. So he made these chairs, and these are chairs that are in Wosay, Sacramento. But he also did the chairs in Wosay, Oakland. He did canaras, he did bookshelves. So he was very skilled with woodcraft and as well as other things. But I want to focus on Mother Spraggin, and her name is Liberta Spraggin. And one of her phrases was, "I'm working on my own Black self." People would ask her, they would say, "How are you doing this morning?" Or "Good morning, Mother Spraggins," or "Hello." And she would say, "I'm working on my own Black self. I'm tucking in the corners of my life. I'm working on my own Black self, and I'm tucking in the corners of my life." Rise and shine. Really, the sun doesn't rise. Kind of an optical illusion to us here on this planet or this plane of existence. It's actually as the world turns, the sun appears to rise, but it's always shining continuously. We need to get more in tune with the solar movements internally. We need to get more in tune with the lunar movements internally so that we can rise and shine. Your true purpose in life is to get back to your God self. Ashe.
Ashe. Where am I at? Thank you, Brother Minister. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm taking down notes. I hate to start at the end to move to the beginning, but Mother Spraggs, boy, she seemed like she grew up in my household, man. She would have been mother, my mother, anybody's mother, coming up with that, working on my own Black self, tucking in the corners of my life. That speaks to so many aspects of my life when I was growing up. I don't know if it touched anyone else out there. If you can imagine, this elder sister talking to you, telling you what she's doing, but also telling you what you need to be doing, tightening up your life. Ashe. Well, for me.
Excuse me, brother Sidney.
Yes, sir.
Brother Sidney, just one thing. I just got a message from Mama Darnisha.
Yes, sir.
That she said that she had the video. And I would like to close that out because that's a very powerful song. Mama Darnisha, thank you for coming through.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
Go ahead and play that if you will.
I was just going to ask if this thing was videotaped. I have to have.
Let's rise. We're going to rise and shine. This is a cry of a people who for over 400 years have been enslaved in mental bondage. A people who with their blood, their sweat, their tears, and their hands, they built the great cities of Babylon. Only to be paid with the wages of the whip, the sword, and the gun.
Ashe. I don't know about anybody else, but you know, I can see myself. I would pay not to go to the concert, but to get on stage and just kind of clap and jump up and down with that brother. I know they was tough. And the thing is, it's that time in our service where we open the door and ask if you got anything out of the message. I'm listening to what Minister Imhotep was saying and how he talked about Mother Sprague, and it's like they were saying the same thing as what was written in the Hosea, because he talks about that internal development. To me, I'm hearing her when she said, I'm working on my own Black self. That's my own personal internal development. I'm saying I'm working on my own Black self, and that's what we're trying to do. And then when she talks about tucking in the corners, I'll read when he says that excellence in social relationship, how we relate to one another. You know, this is standard. This is how we should be. And that's what we're working on here at WOSE. And then your significant social historical services. To me, that's not when they talk about their elders and their olders. Somebody who's just old, they just got older. But when you start trying to do things that will be significant and historical long after you're gone, and that's what we're talking about right here. And if you got anything out of the message, if you heard anything today that kind of touched your soul, touched your spirit, if you need to be a part of a like-minded community, if you want to be a part of this movement, just indicate it. Hit a little raised hand, put something in the chat. Yeah, right now you can come off mute and just say, listen, I'm ready to come on board. So is there anyone out there? I'll wait for half a second.
Okay. Oh, it's definitely.
Sound like I heard somebody talking. If there is someone out there, just go ahead and indicate it. And if not, you have the number and hopefully the address and the email, shall I say the website, the emails, to just drop us a line. Just drop a line in the, in the chat, or send us an email and just let it know I'm ready to come on board. So with that, I want to thank you. I thank everyone for coming out to this service. I want to thank Minister Imhotep for bringing such a, as he always does, something that opens our minds up and ties the things together. Bunny Wailer, the Hosea, Mother Sprague, tying it all together. And that's what we kind of do. That's what we try and do here. Ashe?
Ashe.
Wonderful, wonderful message.
So now maybe we should open it up for a Minister Emeritus, Minister Makalisi might be able to bring this all back down here, back down home, back together with the singing of the Black National Anthem. Ashe? Minister?
Ashe, Ashe. Whew. We give thanks and praises for this day, for this service, for this message, for these songs, for this spirit. Ashe, Ashe. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the eastern sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. March on with arm and rock, March on in the spirit of March. March on with September power every day, every hour. Then let's do all we can for truth and justice throughout this land. The sacred African way, Amen Ra Hetep Ashe. March on with Amen Ra. Rise up, Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah, Ashe. Minister Imhotep, you want to bring us home?
And now unto them
Yeah.
who was able to lift us up faultlessly before the throne on high. May they empower us to be a people with one aim,
One aim,
one vision,
one
vision,
one faith,
one
faith,
one destiny,
One destiny,
one love,
one love,
one heart,
one heart,
one God.
one
God.
Let us call upon the name of that one God as our ancestors and elders have done for countless generations, for time immemorial. Let us all say together,
You are the most
are the most beautiful people on the face of this
earth.
Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe.